great outdoors in California, Santa Monica, sunshine, the Pacific Ocean. But we may be seeing the end of this.
Let's get physical, physical. How I get physical. Let's get into physical. Everybody talk.
Oh dear, pass me my woolly leggings. Personal trainers who give their lessons in the parks of the city are facing higher charges and class restrictions after complaints by some citizens that the spaces are being overrun by groups doing aerobics and weightlifting. And we're joined by two people on opposite sides of this argument. First of all, one of those trainers, Ruben Lawrence. Hello, Ruben.
Hi, how are you?
Very good. Nice to have you with us. And also the chair of Santa Monica City's Parks and Recs Commission, Phil Brock. Hello, Phil.
Good evening, or good morning in England.
Well, it's very nice to have you with us. I think since it's your law, we should ask you to just lay out the problem as you see it.
The problem started several years ago in Santa Monica and throughout the Los Angeles area as personal and group trainers started usurping public parkland for their private classes. And in Palisades Park, our world-famous historic park on the bluffs of the Pacific, it became an acute problem because it's a very narrow, linear park. And we started to have group and personal classes that were in the park. On the surface, it would seem to be fantastic. We have citizens who are active, citizens who are working out. That's great. But the trainers were running a private business on public land.
So is it a revenue thing? Is that what's really bothering you?
No, actually, for me and for our commission and for the city council, revenue absolutely was not the case. In fact, the Recreation and Parks Commission voted twice to ban all training in our parks. That was a paid enterprise. So as far as we were concerned, the new resistance bands that are used were being tied to trees, tied to park benches, tied to light posts and the fences, and were causing distress to tree limbs, causing distress to the structures in our parks. So that was the first complaint. The second complaint were group trainers who then use cones to block off areas in the park and say, well, we're using that now.
Using that for class, so you can't walk the dog through there or whatever it is. Well, let's talk to Ruben Lawrence now. Ruben, you stand accused of causing distress to trees with your rubber bands.
Not all trainers.
What do you make of it, Ruben Lawrence?
Well, this has been brought to our attention, and the trainers have organized a group of form an organization called the Santa Monica Outdoor Training Coalition, which try to get a hold of the issues that were at hand for the community of Santa Monica, particularly at Palisades Park. We've been in negotiation with the Santa Monica Parks and Rec Commission.
Yes. Ruben, I'm going to ask you to be concise because it's really very difficult to make you out on this phone, unfortunately. But in a word, I mean, are you causing damage? Is that something that you would plead guilty to? Or is there something you can do about this? Can you offer them something?
Well, we agreed to the ordinance that's been passed to the City Council, which places restrictions on the equipment being used, no tying equipment to trees or the structures, other parts, the size of classes, the hours allowed to train, noise restrictions,
right,
etc.
I'm sorry, I'm really going to have to say goodbye, and the reason is I just can't understand what you're saying, but I'm getting the gist that you're offering concessions. And I'm coming back to Phil Brock now, because it seems to me that the trainers have now banded together in an organisation, Phil, and they're promising not to cause damage, not to tie on to structures, not to do some of those things at least that you're complaining about.
Well, it's interesting because residents who use that park and who walk along that park and many of our other 26 parks in the city of Santa Monica have complained to us. So we had no ordinance governing this type of activity in our parks whatsoever.
Phil Bright. I'm going to have to say goodbye to you too, Phil. It's the end of our program. The sun rises in Brighton at 7:25.